In today's video, I'm going to be talking you through my experience and my honest review of the Adios Pro 4s that have been released in 2025. This is actually my first ever Adidas shoe, and I'm going to give you my honest review after running the Barcelona half marathon. So there are a few things that are actually new with the Adios Pro 4 compared to the Adios Pro 3. I, of course, have not tried the Adios Pro 3, so I cannot comment on whether that shoe is better than this one. But I'm going to talk about what is new about this one for anyone who has used that Adios Pro 3 in the past. So the Adios Pro 4 has the new Lightstrike Pro foam, and it actually has a 39mm stack. And arguably, this offers a more cushioned and softer ride compared to the Adios Pro 3. This then subsequently will probably increase the comfort of the shoe, but of course I cannot compare it because I have not run it in the Adios Pro 3. So you have to let me know in the comment. In the Adios Pro 4, the rocker is actually further back in the shoe compared to the Adios Pro 3, which probably makes it more suitable for longer distances and for slightly slower paces. One of the big changes in the Adios Pro 4 is that the upper material has completely changed, with the main changes being that it is a lighter upper and a more breathable fabric. And lastly, the weight of the shoe is much lighter, with a UK men's size 9 coming in at 201 grams compared to the Adios Pro 3 that is 216 grams. So a fair bit light. Not that it matters for anyone that is 98 kilograms like myself. What is the purpose of this shoe? So arguably Adidas has come in and said this is their race day shoe for the half marathon and or the marathon distance. In terms of price, in the UK, I picked this up for £220, which is pretty normal pricing for a brand's super shoe. Only really the shoe being more expensive is the On super shoe and obviously the Nike Alpha Fly. So as I said earlier in the video, there is a 39mm stack on this shoe, and that gives a 6mm drop overall. In terms of the midsole and the cushioning, it is equipped with a double layer Lightstrike Pro foam, with the shoe providing ultimate cushioning and return on each strike of your foot on the floor. In terms of the carbon element for this shoe, carbon infused Energy Rods 2.0. For mere mortals like me who don't know what that means, they use carbon rods instead of a carbon plate. These carbon rods, they suggest, come with additional stiffness and create really poppy return from each strike of your foot on the floor. And reading from their website, Adidas say that the Light Lock upper is made to naturally fit with your foot with a unique one-way stretch material aimed to achieve balance between comfort and maximal performance. So what do I like about this racing shoe? So I'm going to confess, I have only ever run it in one super shoe before, and that is the Meta Speed Sky Paris, I believe, by Asics or Asics. In terms of my likes for this shoe, of course, the way the shoe looks is absolutely incredible. I went for the silver and red colorway. Of course, I shouldn't solely pick a shoe on how it looks, but I have heard incredible things coming out of Adidas, and I'm easily persuaded into buying shoes. It actually did offer a much more cushioned ride than the other shoes I have tried. And this took a little bit of getting used to over the first few small runs that I've done with it. However, during the half marathon distance, the actual feeling of the shoe hitting the ground and its cushioned nature didn't take away from the energy return that I got from it. And I actually found myself able to go faster for longer, and it really did help me hit arguably an accidental PB. One of the main pros, and this was spoken about in the technology section, was that this shoe really does fit with the contour of your feet. And of course, this can also, or could have been, a negative if you picked the wrong size and actually chose a smaller shoe. However, it fits your foot like a glove and you feel like there's no real movement. So this is why it's really important that you do actually get the correct sizing, and I'll talk more about sizing later on. Another positive for this shoe is that it is £220. So it was a choice between this shoe and the Nike Alpha Fly. One of the main reasons that I chose this shoe is that it stayed at £220, which I think is very competitive for a super shoe, whereas obviously the Alpha Fly, you're pushing £280, £290. It's just that little bit extra for a shoe that's only going to be able to get like 5 or 6 or 7 races out of it. I just leant towards the cheaper option, which is arguably still not cheap. This shoe as well, as you can see, has really good grip on the bottom. I think it's something Adidas is renowned for, and ultimately in other shoes I have worn, whether that are daily shoes or more race-based shoes, their grip is sometimes compromised in the wet and just when you're turning around corners. Adidas have obviously got the light traction and the continental grip on the front, which really does add a little bit of grip when going around corners, which I did feel the benefit of during the half marathon. I have yet, however, to run these shoes during rainy weather, which, considering I live in the United Kingdom, is mental. I will have to report back on whether they are good in the rain. And my final like for this shoe is that I really do feel like it wants you to go fast and promotes that. Other shoes that I've used, it feels like you have to really put the work in to get the best out of the shoe. Whereas with this shoe, I felt like I could just sustain a better pace for longer, and then I could still kick on towards the end when I needed to, making this an absolute staple in my running shoe collection. And to be fair, for my first ever introduction to Adidas running shoes, they will be here to stay, and I will definitely be buying more running shoes from Adidas in the future. But now let's get to the dislikes, because there definitely are some. Okay, personally, I am quite a heavy runner. I am around 98 kilograms, depending on what time of the year it is, but on average, I'm 98 kilograms. I do worry that this foam is going to, or this shoe in general, is going to lose its pop a lot quicker than other shoes. I have felt that when I'm running, it really does feel like I'm actually compressing the foam, which sounds a bit weird to say out loud, but compared to other shoes where you don't actually feel that foam compress underneath you, I feel like I really am going to have to kind of cherish the miles that I do in the shoe and only really use it for race day efforts or races themselves. I also think that even though I said that it was a positive that this shoe fits you like a glove, I do think for us wider foot runners, it does add a little bit of complexity with sizing and just overall fit of the shoe. Personally, I went up 0.5 or half of a size, that is in the UK sizes, so I went for 11.5. And I'm going to show you a video now of my toe on my left hand side, which arguably is my fault because I did not strap my toe up, but I did get some discomfort during the half marathon on my bigger foot, so my left foot is bigger than my right foot, and ultimately had some pretty bad blisters on the toe. Of course, I will use this information, and when I run in them again, I will be putting on plasters and strapping my toes. However, I do think for individuals who have wider feet, you really do need to think about whether this is the shoe for you ultimately, or make sure you get your sizing right. Otherwise, you're gonna struggle on those longer efforts. I can't imagine doing a marathon distance in the state my feet were in for that half marathon. So lastly, do I actually recommend this shoe, or am I just waving it around in the camera for you? I would say yes, I do recommend the shoe. If you're going off of purely aesthetics, arguably that is one of the sexiest shoes you're ever gonna see. If you're going off of performance, from my experience, I hit an accidental PB in this shoe when I had suboptimal training, suboptimal fitness, and a slight injury. The shoe has definitely helped with that. Over the next few months, I do have more races booked, so I might do a little bit of a follow-up exercise when I've run closer to 200 kilometers in this shoe. And in terms of my first ever Adidas shoe, this will go down, and I will always keep this shoe. I feel it might have a place on my wall. And as far as first ever tries with an Adidas shoe, it is an absolute keeper. I would recommend it, and the best way to make your mind up about the shoe is to try it. And of course, £220 is not a small amount of money, but a review is only as good as your experience. So you need to go out, you need to try the shoe, see if it works well with you. If it doesn't work well, at least you've tried it and you can then move on. Thank you for watching this video. If you do enjoy the shoe reviews, I have hundreds of shoes downstairs that I can review from experience, and shoes that I've actually done more miles in. So if there is a shoe that you would like me to review on Asics, Saucony, please just let me know in the comments. If you've got this far, please leave it a like and subscribe. It does help the channel. Other than that, happy running. If you need me, I'll be going and looking at my shoes.